Actually, there are. I don't know if you can hear it in the back. She said that she is also a gamer parent, and she games with her kids, but occasionally has to game with other kids. And the best thing about gaming with other kids is that I have yet to encounter a gamer parent who's like a little league parent, which is really nice. I hate those people. There is actually, this is going to sound like I'm shilling for my own book, but there's a story in here about the first time I ran D&D 4th edition for my son Nolan and 3 of his friends. They had wanted to play it for a really long time, and I had so much fun playing with Penny Arcade, and I had just so much fun running delves that I wanted to like run for them as well. And his friends came over, and we started out. The idea was to start them on a campaign. For those of you who are familiar with the low-level 4th edition games, I was going to start them out on the Shadowfell. It's a great introductory kind of module for them, move them through Thunderspire Labyrinth, and by that point, I probably would have written my own stuff. I had this great overarching thing, you know, people trying to raise Orcus, and they would have to they would eventually fight him, and it was going to be great. And I was worried that I would make some mistakes with them, so I slightly modified one of the low-level delves from the Dungeon Delve book, and I started them there as sort of like a preamble to then putting them into, you know, getting them to Fall Crest and taking them to keep on the Shadowfell. And we had a really, really good time. And his friends, it was very clear that their primary exposure to gaming has been single-player RPGs on the computer, or that they played MMOs, because they really approached it that way. And it was weird for me as look, I'm an old school gamer, and it was really weird for me to watch them. And I'm just thinking, like, look, I'm going to run the game and make it fun for them, and I will support whatever they do. Why won't they work together? So I took this series of, I recapped all of the things that we did together, and I wrote about them, and then and I split them up across a series of posts on my blog, and then I thought about what I learned about being a DM from that experience, and then I published that as well after the whole thing was wrapped up. And it ended up being a really heavily trafficked series of posts. I think it even made the front page of the Envelope. It was a wonderful experience for me. It was a lot of fun for me. There's a game, there's an out-of-the-box game called, I think it's called Gold Diggers. That, like, I sometimes call it Flame Jumpers, which I don't think is the right name for it. But it's just one of those really fun card games with all the great John Kovalic, artwork disclosure. John's one of my best friends. It's a really fun game where you set up these mines and you get, like, gold out of the mines and stuff. One mine always ends up being like a crap mine that nobody wants to end up getting out of it. So we started calling it the booty mine. Like that's a booty mine. You don't want to go there. And I wrote a song about the booty mine. The best thing about being a parent is embarrassing your kids. I mean, there's other good stuff too, you know, but that's really a lot of fun for me. So I wrote a song about the booty mine, and I would sing it all the time. And my kids would have their friends come over, and I could see them struggle with, like, do we want to play? It's a fun game, but he's going to sing the booty mines. And my son Ryan loves Talisman, which is really, I love Talisman too. It's a lot of fun. If you take out all of the expansions, so it only takes 12 hours to play, and if you role play it. Like if you really role play, so if you're an evil character and you can either go to the square to get something you want, or go to this character and fight the good character, you go and fight the good character. We played that, and one of Nolan's friends decided that he was the troll and he was an alcoholic. So whenever he could go to the tavern to try and get drunk, he would. And he didn't win the game, but had an incredibly good time playing it. And I think that we as gamer parents, we have a little bit of a responsibility, like I wrote in these books, and I talked about a little bit today. We have opportunities when we play games with people. We can add gamers to the world, or we can solidify the stereotype that gamers are antisocial and exclusionary and difficult sort of get along with. And I think that it's really important when we play games to make sure that people we're playing with have fun, and that we leave them wanting to come back and play more games. And for gamer parents, you know, it's great. You can form bonds with your kids, and you can know your kids' friends, and you can create an environment where, as they get into high school and their friends begin having more of an influence on them than you do, your influence will come through their friends because they've been gaming with you throughout their entire childhoods. So please keep playing games. Games are important. Games are